Hi guys, WineTuber here, and in today's video I'm going to talk about one of the most fascinating Spanish wine regions, which is Rioja. So if you're a wine lover or maybe study for WSET level 2 or level 3, watch this video until the end. Before we start, many thanks to Peter and entire team of Rioja Wine Academy, but also the Corkscrew Wine and Spirit Merchants for helping me with this video. And if you're watching my channel for the first time, please consider to subscribe. Did you know that in Rioja there is 66,000 hectares of vines, which is equivalent of 93,000 football fields? There's 14,800 growers and 574 wineries. The city of Logroño is the capital of the La Rioja region. The region of Rioja is strongly associated with red wines produced from the Tempranillo grapes. But did you know that in this region, red wine represents 84.4% of the total production? 10.2% wines are white and 5.4% wines in these regions are rosé, called in Spanish rosado. What is even more interesting, in this region there is more than few houses that is also producing traditional style sparkling wines. So if you like to learn more about all different wines produced in this area, stay tuned. Rioja is located in the north of Spain, stretching along the banks of the upper Ebro River. It's about 100 kilometers south of Bilbao and about 350 kilometers north of Madrid. Did you know that La Rioja region spread across 3 autonomous regions, including Rioja, the Basque Country and Navarra? Rioja region is divided into 3 sub-regions, including Rioja Alavesa with over 30,000 hectares of grapes, Rioja Alta with nearly 28,000 hectares of grapes, and finally Rioja Oriental with 25,191 hectares of grapes. Did you know that Rioja Oriental was originally called Rioja Baja? This name was changed in April 2018. There was few reasons why this name was changed. First of all, you need to know that in Spanish, Baja means low and was regarding to the lower down to Ebro River and lower in altitude. But in fact, some of the highest vineyards in Rioja regions are located in this area. Rioja have really long history. Did you know that the first evidence of using name Rioja, or probably Rioja or Riogam, dates back to 1099. The roots of the modern Rioja were established in the 19th centuries, thanks to the introductions of new winemaking techniques in Bordeaux style and the use of oak barrels. The pioneers of these changes were Marques of Riscal and Marques of Murrieta. But now, let's move on to the most important times of the Rioja history, which is started in the 20th century. One of the most important days in Rioja history was the 6th of June 1925, where local producers created the very first appellation called Denominacion de Origen Rioja, which was also approved by Spanish government, meaning that Rioja is the oldest democratic and regulated wine appellation in Spain. However, in 1991, the Rioja has taken another step forward and became Denominacion de Origen Calificada, which is in fact the highest designation for Spanish wines. If you'd like to learn more about the oldest wine regions in the world, not appellations by the way, click the link above or one in the description below. Generally speaking, Rioja's climate can be defined as being warm, continental. However, the eastern areas show more pronounced Mediterranean influence, whereas the western areas have an Atlantic influence. Rioja have a lot of different microclimates and altitude. Did you know that the Rioja altitude ranges from 300 to 800 meters above the sea level? All these conditions are ideal for growing grapes and producing wines in different styles. By the way, did you know that the Rioja Oriental is the warmest part of the region? Apart of climate, Rioja also have diverse soil types, which are highly suitable for quality viticulture. The most important soil types in Rioja are clay-limestone, ferrous-clay, and finally alluvial soil, which is a type of very stony soil. Going back to the grape varieties, did you know that there is 14 different types of grapes permitted in the Rioja region, including 5 reds and 9 whites. The red grape varieties are as follows. 87% of all planting represent Tempranillo, 7.5% Garnacha, also known as Grenache in France, 2.1% Graciano, 2% Mazuelo, also known as Carignan in France, and finally 0.3% Maturana Tinta, which probably originated to the southwest of France. White wines in Rioja are produced from the following varieties. Viura is the most important white grapes and cover 60.7% of plantings, then 12.5% Tempranillo Blanco, 5.4% Verdejo, 3.6% Garnacha Blanca, 3.3% Sauvignon Blanc, 2.6% Chardonnay, 2.2% Malvasía de Rioja, 0.6% Maturana Blanca, which is in fact the oldest variety of Rioja, and lastly 0.1% Turruntes, also known as Albillo Mayor in Castilla-León. Fun fact, did you know that there is probably more than 20 different varieties planted in Rioja? Producers who planted their vines before 1925 are still allowed to use them and label as DOCA Rioja. Not many people know that Rioja is also producing fantastic quality sparkling wines. The new category called Espumoso de Rioja was officially launched in 2017, and only dry versions are available on the market, including Brut, Extra Brut and Brut Nature. Espumoso de Rioja are produced only from hand-harvested grapes and available as a white and rosé. Espumoso Rosé must contain at least 25% of red grapes. Sparkling wines produced under DOCA Rioja are divided into 3 categories. Espumoso de Rioja are aged on the lees for minimum of 15 months. Espumoso de Rioja Reserva are aged for 24 months. And finally, Espumoso de Rioja Gran Añada are aged for minimum of 36 months, which is the same amount of time like a vintage champagne. My 3 favorite producers of Espumoso de Rioja wines are Vivanco, Urbina and Nivarius. And by the way, all 14 grapes are permitted in Espumoso de Rioja production. Spanish wines, including DOCA Rioja, have one of the most strict and very precise rules in terms of aging the wine in the bottle and in the barrels. The official classification of Rioja wines was introduced in 1974 and is divided into 4 categories. Wines labeled as cosecha are usually unoaked, very fruity with good acidity and quite easy drinking. The Crianza category corresponds to the wines aged in oak. Red Crianza wines are aged for 24 months, with at least 12 months in oak barrels. For white and rosé wines, the minimum barrel aging time is 6 months. Crianza wines offer softer acidity, structure and tannins. Wines labeled as Reserva are aged for at least 36 months with minimum of 12 months barrel aging, followed and complemented by a minimum of 6 months in the bottle. For white and rosé wines, the minimum aging period is 2 years, which at least 6 months should have been in barrels. Red Reserva wines are typically more complex than Crianza, with intense fruit sensation, but also balsamic and spicy tones. Reserva whites have a slightly deeper color than Crianza, full of fruits, floral aromas and oaky character. The Gran Reserva wines has been aged for at least 60 months with a minimum of 2 years barrel aging, but also a minimum of 2 years in the bottle. For white and rosé wines, the minimum aging period is 4 years, of which at least 6 months should have been in barrels. Gran Reserva wines showing a great aromatic complexity and intensity with spicy notes of tobacco, roast coffee, nuts, clove, cedar and so on. Rioja Gran Reserva wines are quite unique. These wines are darker in color with aromas of ripe fruits, dry flowers, spicy tones coming from the oak aging. Did you know that every bottle of Rioja have number seal on the back of the bottle, which certify the aging category, but also guarantee the origin, vintage and quality of the wine, strictly controlled by Consejo Regulador de Rioja. Cosecha wines have a green seal, Crianza wines red, Reserva it's purple, and Gran Reserva seal it's blue. My favorite Gran Reserva Rioja, by the way, is La Rioja Alta 890. Please note that each wine labeled as Crianza, Reserva or Gran Reserva must be aged in oak, which have a capacity of 225 liters. Did you know that 65% of wines produced under DOCA Rioja are aged in oak barrels? And the most common type is, of course, Crianza. In 2017, Rioja region has undergone a small revolution. Apart from Espumoso de Rioja, Consejo Regulador introduced the new waves of labeling wine by the vineyard, village and the region, with the aim of showing the diversity in between different sub-regions and the terroir of the Rioja region. Now, Rioja wines are also divided into 3 new categories according to the origin. Wines labeled as Vino de Zona can be only made in a specific sub-region, either Rioja Alavesa, Rioja Alta or Rioja Oriental, previously known as Rioja Baja. Wines labeled as Vino de Municipio are village style of wine that can be made in one of the 144 communes of Rioja. And finally, on the top of the new classification are viñedos singulares, wine from particular vineyards or estates that are directly linked to the terroir. Viñedos singulares are made from hand-harvested grapes only that must be at least 35 years old, and the maximum production is 5,000 kg per hectare for red varieties and 6,922 kg per hectare for the white varieties. As I mentioned before, Rioja region is very well known and still famous for the red wines aged in oak. However, in this area we can also find some exceptional other wines, such as white Rioja produced from the old vines of Viura, and I highly recommend to try those that were aged in oak. Another great white wines can be made from the Tempranillo Blanco, which is in fact mutation of Tempranillo Tinto. One of the most underrated white grape variety in my opinion is Garnacha Blanca, which can really benefit from aging in the clay vats. Another underrated wines produced in the Rioja area are rosé, called in Spanish rosado. If you're a fan of Provence style of rosé, you should definitely try wines labeled as clarete, which is a typical style of rosé to Nájera Valley. Clarete wines are blend of Garnacha Tinta and Viura. Thanks to Rioja Wine Academy, I spent 4 fantastic days in Rioja. That was a trip of my life. And I visited so many beautiful places, vineyards and wineries. And here is the top 3 places that you have to see when you're visiting Rioja. The first place is the railway station district located in Haro town. In one day, you can visit 6 stunning Rioja producers, including Cune, Gómez Cruzado, La Rioja Alta, Viña Pomal, Bodegas Muga and Bodegas Roda, but also iconic López de Heredia Vina Tondoña. My second favorite place was Vivanco, Museum of Wine Culture, located in the village of Briones in La Rioja Alta. Please make sure that you save at least 3 hours of your time to visit this place because it's gonna blow your mind. My third favorite place is located in Rioja Alavesa, which is Marques de Riscal. Their collection of wines at their bodega called 1860 is out of this world. Their hospitality and finally the hotel is one of the most beautiful buildings I ever seen in my life. What a place! Of course, there's way more to see in Rioja. The full list of my 10 favorite places to see in Rioja can be found in the description below. Thank you very much for watching until the end, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video. By the way, don't miss out my next one about 8 appellations dedicated only to rosé wines. So stay tuned, don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time!